Hey, what's up, Breck students? Frank here from AFP with a video on the drummer feature. Now, I know previously I did a video on the smart drummer feature on GarageBand for iOS, but now we're going to be talking about the drummer feature, which is a robot programmed feature that allows you to kind of have the feeling of a real drummer. And basically, these are all presets that have been recorded by real, actual talented players that have their own style, their own kind of signature, like zest about their drumming playing. They've been presetted into GarageBand for us to use, and I'm going to show you how to use that right now. So what you're going to want to do, well, first things first, this is the same track that I demonstrated smart drums on, just to make you familiar with it. That kind of shoegazy guitar sound track that I made previously. So now we're gonna, as you can see, I muted the smart drums that I had there, and now we're gonna add a real kind of drummer onto it, a real kind of virtual drummer. So what we're gonna do is we have two different types of options here. We have acoustic and electronics. So we're gonna want to click. I guess for this song, I'm gonna want to click acoustic. And basically, you kind of can see here that there's already a track, an audio track pre-made for you with drums on it, and it should sound something like this. So the drummer feature works very similarly to the smart drum feature, but it already has drums pre-recorded for you, and basically you can manipulate those recordings by adjusting the settings here on the screen. So for instance, if I wanted to drag this down to being a little softer and kind of take out the hi-hat and snare, I could just have the kick playing like this. And it's on beat. Take out all the kick, all the snare, and just have kick, no snare. Turn off the fills. See that? Just kick. So now we're going to add back in the snare, and you can click the drum you want in the mix, or in the track rather. So I'm going to put the snare back in, I'm going to put the hi-hats, and I'm going to put a little bit of, I was going to say shaker, but that's a maraca. Let me put some tambourine. Let's hear how that sounds. As I'm changing what I want in the track, you can see the track changing. Like if I was to take those things that I just added in, you can kind of see the track being adjusted. So like I said, I took everything out. Now it's just kick, and now I'm going to add snare and hi-hat, and you can see it change. That's crazy. So and now we're going to add a clap and tambourine. You can make the drummer play simple or more complex, much like the smart drum. You can make him play louder or soft. So let's make him play a little louder and complex and hear the difference. Oh yeah, very Beach Boy. If your song has a swing in it, which mine doesn't, but if your song has a swing in it, you could adjust to whatever swing it's set to, or whatever your quantize settings are set to, you can kind of lock into those. But this is an extremely helpful way, just like much like the Smart Drummer. It's even easier than that to create a drum beat, and I think it's really cool. So this is, I guess this is called the half pipe preset. Let's change this drummer's preset. Well, actually, let's find out what's this drummer's name. So you can find out his name by going to track settings. This is Kyle. So it says it right on top of output. This is Kyle's drum playing. Let's change it from half pipe to mixtape. Let's hear how that sounds. Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure you're asking, who the heck is Kyle? Well, Kyle is one of the robot drummers that Apple has recorded into GarageBand for iOS. And you can change Kyle to a different drummer by doing this. So we're going to delete that track. We're going to go back to our mix window. And then we're going to make sure that we have our Smart Drums selected. We're going to go to the Smart Drums, the place that you would select Smart Drums. You're going to go back to it, like our track menu, like the type of track we're creating. And we are going to go to more drummers, and we're going to switch from Kyle to, let's go to Logan. See how Logan plays. And just like the previous drummer, you can subtract any of the drum pieces of the drum set that you don't want in the track away from the track. So I'm going to make this just hi-hat and kick. And let's hear how that sounds together. So there's no snare, or minimal snare rather. So what's cool is if you really like the beat that you kind of created with this drummer, you don't even have to press record. It's kind of already there. So if you go to your mix window, it's already loaded in. So I bet you're asking, well, what about the next part of the song? I want a little more variety. Never fear. You can scroll over to the next section, which in my case is section B, and you can basically add another part by clicking this the drummer icon at the top left-hand side of the screen and just basically tapping in, and just press play. So I'm basically going to do that same kind of thing for all the sections. So I'm going to scroll over. I'm going to click this section, or click this track rather, copy, scroll over to the next section, paste, and then I think my last section is E, so I have 2 more sections. So I'm going to paste it here. And let's see. Alright, and just like in the Smart Drum video, you're going to want to make sure all sections is selected so you can hear the whole thing, the whole project, and you just press play. and after section E, it's going to go right back to section A. So it's really cool. You can kind of manipulate the drums and sound like, have your track sound like you actually have a session drummer on your track. It really sounds convincing. It sounds like super real. So yeah, this is just a really cool method on how to get drums that sound pretty good on your tracks without really having to do much mixing or much programming. I think it's an extremely helpful tool for first-time songwriters, just like the Smart Drummer. So the fact that you have the Smart Drummer and the actual, I guess, virtual drummer feature is incredibly helpful for people who use GarageBand for iOS. Well, there you have it, folks. If you have any questions, please as always, leave a question in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope to be making more for you in the future. All right, have a good one.